Hey everybody, you're watching Cole the Corn Star. Good morning and welcome to the farm. Today we are going to be framing some walls on my farm mansion. And on top of the house, we are about this far away from getting ready for corn harvest, so we might be getting some stuff set up. We're for sure going to be going to test some corn to see how dry it is. I don't know exactly how things are going to fall out yet, but I do know that my house needs to get framed up and enclosed before wintertime. So we are going to primarily be focusing on that. It just got done raining a few minutes ago, so it kind of got some wet surface in here. I'm gonna go grab the leaf blower and we're gonna get this blown off so that way that can be drying, and then we're gonna start throwing some wood together. I got everything broomed out and leaf blown off, so things are starting to dry up. Now, before we start building our walls, right now we currently have paper plans and they keep blowing all around in the wind. So before we get started, I'm gonna cut some plywood so that way we can mount our plans to these things and we don't have to worry about them blowing away anymore. All right, here we go. We got all of our plans now mounted to boards, so that way we don't have to worry about them blowing away, and we can go outside with... That didn't work very good. As I was saying, we can go outside with them, and we don't have to worry about our plans blowing around now. All right, here we go. We got 3 sets of plans laid out here. The one on the right is the perspective of the house, as if you were standing out there in the grass facing the house. And then this one is the perspective of straight down. And then this one right here has all of our window dimensions, so that way we know the rough openings for all of the windows that are marked out on these plans. So now we're gonna get some boards laid out, and then we're gonna get some boards cut, and then we'll start throwing these things together and assembling a wall. At the moment, the task that I am doing is board sorting. This is the pile that came from the wood factory, and as much as we would like to think every single one of these boards is perfectly straight, they are not. So I'm picking up every single one and I am inspecting them. If I find big splits in them, they go over on this pile. This is our discard pile. And if I find any boards that are crooked this way, that way, that way, or that way, I also throw them on this pile. So far, I've gone through just about our entire little bundle here, and that is how many bad boards I have found, and that is how many good boards I have found. After sorting through the whole pile of boards, we had about 100 boards that were in the bad pile, and we have about 100 boards that are in the good pile. It sounds like we can send all of this bad wood back, and they will give us our money back for it, and then I guess they send it off to an auction yard to get auctioned off. I don't know what they do with it, but yeah, that's interesting. 50% of our boards were not usable. Now that we got our boards all sorted out, we are officially ready to start building our first wall. There it is. After 1 year and 9 months of waiting, we have built the very first wall of the new addition. Next up, we're gonna do some cutting. We need to cut all of these boards that we just separated out as good at 107 inches. After spending a little while running the saw, I decided to throw down my studs on the ground next to my plates, so that way I wasn't cutting a bunch of unnecessary boards. And it appears I'm about 30 short, so I'm gonna go cut those here in a moment, but I'll give you a little sneak peek. This is going to be the future master bedroom. And then when we go over here, there's gonna be a doorway. We can go over into the master bathroom, and then there is going to be a closet right here. So really this whole up above elevated area that we're standing on, this is the whole master suite. And then on the other side of these sawhorses, there's going to be a hallway. And then where we have this piece of plywood, or maybe slid over a little bit, there's going to be a doorway cut so we can get into the existing house through here. And then where this window is, this is going to be a door for a bathroom. We're gonna have a bathroom on the other side of this window, and where this little room is sitting. And then over here, we haven't constructed it yet, but we are going to build this out a little bit, and then we'll be cutting a doorway right there so we can also get in. And then once we construct this platform area here, there's going to be a built-in ramp that will then take us down to where the plywood meets the concrete. So you'll be able to come up the ramp, get up here, shoot down the hallway, bathroom on the left. You can go all the way to the end. My office will be through that end door, and then my bedroom will be over here. Construction break. It looks like my brother is doing his last baling of the year. My favorite part. Break time is now over. We have 30 more boards to cut, and looking at this pile, I might not have 30 here. Unfortunately, I ended up running 11 boards short, and also unfortunately, while sorting through my good pile, I ended up finding another 16 boards that were split down the middles. So, over 50% of our pile was actually wood that we could not use, but I am 11 boards short, so I don't have enough to be able to build the rest of our walls. So I do, but the boys came over to see me, and I don't really want to open up a whole new stack. So I think that's going to be something that we're going to work on tomorrow. What do you think, Eduardo?
Good job, Daddy.
12 hours later.
It's now the next day. We have an absolutely beautiful sunrise coming up behind me. We are going to be continuing to build the master suite out today, but before we get started throwing up some more of these boards, I have a little bit of a change of plans. I need to jump down into the basement. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the underground movie theater. I don't know what it is about getting a roof on top of the underground movie theater, but I knew it was big, but throwing the roof on the top, it really sets the cherry on top and gives us the full scale of what the underground movie theater is going to feel like. And oh, this is such a cool room. So the reason why I'm down here is because we poured the basement floor for the underground movie theater, well, a couple months ago now. And when we did that, it wasn't a perfect floor. We have quite a few discrepancies. We got on the concrete, on the finishing side of it, too late. And so by the time we got down here, it was pretty set up and there wasn't a lot that we could do to fix our unevenness. So today we are going to have some guys come in with a 1,200-pound concrete grinder, and they are going to basically sand the floor, shave a layer of this concrete off so that way we can get all these little discrepancies out for us. So that way we have a nice even plane on our floor. And before they get here, I need to get all of this trash out of here as well as all of these boards. So that way they have a nice clean environment to be able to do their concrete grinding. Those guys are supposed to be here in a few minutes, so I'm going to get started cleaning. Holy cow. Talk about a workout. I'm sweaty. concrete grinder, guys, and that is their big grinder. That thing weighs about 1,000 pounds. We got it drifted down in here with no problems. So they are now going to go around and they're basically going to do a really rough grind on the top to get everything on the same plane. And then they'll flip that grinder up, they'll put some different blades on the bottom of it, and then they'll get everything nice and smooth looking. This is, by the way, going to be kind of their rough pass. If we want to epoxy the floor or something later, they would come back and get it really nice and good, but right now we're just concerned about getting it on the same plane because if it's carpeted, we don't need it to be absolutely marble smooth. When they end up getting done today, we should have all of this roughness completely gone. It won't probably look this smooth, but it will all be flat. Busy working on that most of the day, so we're going to let them do their thing, and while they're down there grinding, we have a cutting station over here, and then we're going to be building walls over there. Semi coming in with their next load of trusses. This is going to be for the roof that's going to be above the walls that we are making right now. It's quite hot out today, and I've been sweating a lot, and my legs are starting to cramp. So I have a little cramp hack for you. If you're a big cramper, this is what I do, and it works really well for me. Right here, I got some regular table salt. If you can get the fancy stuff with all the extra minerals, better yet, I would say, but basically, I get about that much in a spoon. I'm not gonna lie, this kind of tastes gross. Just don't think too much about it and drink plenty of water. But I'm just gonna throw this in my mouth and drink water behind it, and then the cramps are pretty much gone. So here we go. Feels like you're drinking seawater, but it works. We got the combine out, that means something. Red alert, red alert. We got the combine with the corn head on it. Oh boy. I got a feeling that we might have found some corn that's dry enough. How are you doing, Pete?
Hey, we're hanging in there.
Did you put your makeup on today?
I should have.
You got your harvest beard coming in.
I do. We're doing good that way. It is just about go time.
False alarm, we are not getting started yet. Cooper is getting everything out right now, and Zach just pulled the 340 out. And what we are doing, Pete Youngblood, the owner of Youngblood Ag, is here right now, and he's just making sure all of the Ag Leader monitor stuff is working, and the monitors in the tractor and the combine are talking to each other, because it seems like every year we get into them and some wire came unplugged when someone was working on something, and then the first day stuff doesn't work. So we're not doing that again this year. So Pete is out here right now, and he is just making sure that everything is going to work, so that way once we start in the field, we can just go and we don't have to worry about our monitor stuff. Dad, give us the corn report.
Well, I just went out and picked some. Stalks are a little bit weak in this field, but about 18% moisture. That's
Pete, you
what-
need to hurry up and get done.
That's right, we gotta get going, man.
All jokes aside, it is a good thing that Pete came out because we could not get the new In Command Go 16 monitor to turn on, and come to find out when the combine mechanics were working on the combine, they must have unplugged like 4 wires and didn't plug them back together. So Pete got those back together and now things are working. Back over at the house, everybody just went home for the night, and I would like to apologize for not really talking a whole lot today while we were building, but the guys down in the basement running the concrete grinders had a generator running over there, and it was just going bah all day, so you really couldn't hear me very well. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you the Master Suite. We're gonna start by doing a walkthrough. Now that we actually have some walls, we can visualize how things are actually going to be laid out. And then once we get done with the walkthrough, then I'm gonna go over some of the cool features that we're adding. Just to be clear, you still will have to use your imagination a little bit because not all of the internal walls are built yet, but we'll be able to get a pretty good idea. So starting off right here, this is going to be a hallway. So this board is going to be the hallway wall. So I have a nice hallway through here. There's going to be a bathroom on the left. We can come down this hallway, and then on the other side of this piece of plywood, there's going to be a door cut so we can shoot into the existing house. And then all the way at the end of the hallway, there's going to be a wall right here. So you won't be able to see in there because that's going to be the shower for the master suite. So when we turn around in the hallway and go back, we'll have our door somewhere over here. And then when we come in, we will be in the closet. So yes, you do come into the room through the closet. I know it's a little bit strange, but honestly, whenever I leave the room, I'm usually getting dressed. So for me, it makes sense. So you'll come into the closet, and then there will be a door somewhere here in the middle. And when you walk through that door, we're going to have a laundry room right here on the right. And then when we step in further, there's going to be the bathroom on the left, or the toilets on the left. And then we will have our vanity over here. There's going to be a tub over there. And then there will be a little hallway that will take you back to where the shower is located over there. Starting back at the entrance of the room, if we don't want to go into the bathroom, we can just pass straight through the closet, and then we get into the actual bedroom area. Right now, this thing is absolutely ginormous, but where we have that blocking in the middle, there's actually going to be a wall built across, and there will be a door over here, and then there will be a door over there. So if we want the bed on this side, there will be a door on either side of the bed, and then that basically gives us the option of we can have our bed on this side of the room if we want to, or we can have our bed on this side of the room with all of the windows if we want to. So depending on the time of the year, we can pick. If we want it to be darker in the room, we can be on this side. If we want it to be lighter in the room, we can be on this side. But then going forward, we have a doorway right here. And this doorway will take us, this is going to be elevated when we build it up in the future, but you'll be able to walk out. We'll be able to hit a spiral staircase that will take us down into the gym, or we can go upstairs from here as well. But then we'll be able to pass through, and there will be a door right there at the end of this that will take us out into the garage. So it's kind of a personal room access into the garage if we so choose, and then we can go right around into the underground movie theater because there's going to be a door for that right there, or we can just drop down to the spiral staircase and get to the underground movie theater as well. I really like these big windows that we have in here. There's going to be a lot of light coming in, but then when we work our way around, we'll have another doorway right here, and then this will take us into the bathroom. So bathroom, closet, and then we're gonna have the big old bedroom area that we will be able to be on that side or this side. It just depends what we want. Now, as far as features go, these big openings on the bump out that look like doorways are not actually doorways. Those are going to be windows. And no, the windows are not going to be floor to ceiling like that. They are going to be big, but they're going to have a little barrier thing at the bottom. But right now, just for the way we are framing this, we're just framing them open like this, and then we can come back in later for all of the little blocking that will come underneath, as well as the windowsill. So these will shrink up, but there is going to be a lot of light in the bump out. And then in the bathroom, it's the same thing. These are not going to be doors, they are going to be windows, and the bottom of the windows will probably be somewhere about right here. So the main purpose of these is if we want to open a window for ventilation, we can. We'll be able to get a little bit of natural light in, but with them being higher like this, we will still be able to maintain our privacy. And then the other cool feature of the master suite is look at these walls. We got a 2x6 plate on the bottom, but then we have 2x4 studs, and they are staggered to each other. So what do we got going on here? This type of construction is called a staggered wall, and it is a soundproofing technique. I'm not a professional soundproofing person, so I could be explaining this wrong, but from my understanding, the way a staggered stud design works is it helps prevent noise vibrations from being able to pass from one side of the wall all the way through to the other side of the wall, which means the noise would be heard in the other room. And the way that it's able to do that is due to the fact that we have this staggered design. On a standard built wall, like the one I'm looking at, when I make a noise with my mouth, the vibrations of my vocal cords go through the air, and then they end up passing through the solid of the wood, and then they go right out the other side. So if there's something on the other side of the wall, if I'm talking here, some of it's gonna get eaten up by the wood, but some of it is still going to pass all the way through because it is connected from one side all the way to the other. Now when it comes to the staggered wall, on the other hand, assume that these boards are the drywall, so see how nothing actually connects through? We have all these gaps. So if I'm talking right here, my voice can travel through this stud, but once it gets to the end of the stud, there is nothing there, so it's not transferred to the wall on the other side. The only way it can transfer through is on the plate on the bottom, so a little bit still gets through, but it's knocked down a lot. So that's the idea behind the staggered wall, is we have a lot less area for sound transmission to be able to travel through. And not only does the staggered wall help prevent sound transmission, but when we end up filling all these cavities full of insulation, it will knock it down even more. So we should have some pretty quiet rooms. Before it gets dark, I got a couple more things I would like to do. Thing number one, I installed some wedge bolts the other day, and after looking at them, I don't think that these are hot dipped galvanized, which they need to be, like this one, in order to be able to go into this pressure treated wood, because I guess the pressure treated wood is corrosive on stuff that is not hot dipped galvanized. So I'm gonna go around and drill a few more holes, and I'm gonna install some new galvanized wedge bolts. And then once I get done with that, I also need to get some more of these white plates put on the top. I need to finish out on the bump out, and then I have a little bit on that back wall to do as well.
See him.
Unfortunately, I ran out of daylight to be able to get the rest of the plates on, but I did get the rest of the wedge bolts done. So I guess we are one step closer. And speaking of one step closer, I'm one step closer to my bed. This is all we got for today. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.